right. Welcome to our week 4 class meeting. Um, we're going to have one more before this module ends, guys. It ends next Friday. So it has kind of flown by, like I told y'all it would. Um, but we're getting ready to close out module 157 next week. So that's kind of the big thing right now, is working on those labs and getting just as much done in SimChart as you can. That is going to be your prime focus. Y'all will have a small pop quiz at the end of the module on the last day on Friday, day 20 of 20. That's the only thing y'all will have to do other than, your normal daily assignment. It's just a small pop quiz. So it's kind of going to be kind of an easy roundup.
I have a question. What there's assignments that are assignment 51 and 61, but I don't ever remember those actually being physically assigned to us in a lab. Am I
They
wrong?
weren't.
Okay.
They weren't. They were accidentally opened.
Okay.
Yeah, just go by whatever's in that written down in that assignment page. Follow that, and you will be good to go. Yeah, y'all. I make mistakes too. I opened those by mistake. I thought I had went just odd numbers, so I just opened them up, and then when I went to double check, I was like, oh, my bad. And actually, it was Courtney. Courtney had to text message me and say, hey, the assignment says this, but this is open. What do I do? And I had to go in and fix my mistake. So it happens, y'all. It happens. I am human too. Just when y'all find crazy stuff like that, just text me to verify if you have a question. I do not mind that at all. All right, so today, week 4 class meeting. Today we're going to talk a little bit about clearinghouses and the important role that they play, and we're actually going to have a field trip to the Availity Clearinghouse website, a virtual field trip to a clearinghouse that one of our other instructors did, Miss Danielle, and she's going to we're going to watch her video, and I'm going to answer any questions y'all may have. There's a couple of spots we're going to stop and talk about some stuff that she talks about. But it should be interesting, and it'll be something that you guys will see when y'all go to work, whether it's coding or billing or whatever. You will probably at some point in time have experience with a clearinghouse. All right, so for today we're gonna do some real quick announcements. Nothing real new, nothing exciting really. Then again, we're gonna go over that Availity Clearinghouse video, and then wrap it up with any questions or concerns y'all have about anything right now. So let's hit up those announcements real quick, get those out the way. Again, graduation May 5th. I'm going to post the link in news and announcements when I get that. The career services mock interviews, and y'all, they are alternating days and night meetings to accommodate everybody, because again, those are mandatory for everybody. You have to do it before your program ends to graduate. So pop in there. Again, all that information is on the career services page in eLearning. And as always, our NCCT prep sessions continue Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. Miss Ashley Leslie, she normally hosts, but she's been sick this past week or two. So I don't know if maybe somebody else is hosting right now, but I haven't heard about them being canceled, so they're probably still going on. And again, the module ends next Friday. So again, focus on those labs and getting just as much done in SimChart as you can. I know some of y'all are behind. Some of y'all are very behind. Do what you can. Guys, if you don't get at least half of those labs completed, you will not pass this module. You'll get an F. You will have to repeat this module before you graduate, and I don't want that to happen to anybody, because everybody's time is valuable, and I can reopen assignments for y'all if y'all need me to. I just need you to get in touch with me and tell me that you want to put in that effort, and I'll do everything I can to get you to where you need to be and help you out. So get with me if you're behind on your labs and you want some help with a plan to get you caught up, okay? I'm more than happy to help. I know everybody has life stuff that comes up and all that, but we gotta keep on trucking, right? We got to keep on trucking. All right, so let's jump into it. Clearinghouses. What is a clearinghouse? A clearinghouse is an entity that works as an intermediary between providers and insurance companies. Providers file claims electronically to the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse reviews the claim for errors before sending it to the insurance company for processing. After the claim has been processed by the insurance company, they send their response to said claim back to the clearinghouse, where the provider can then go and pull that information if they don't have like a report sent to them or something like that. So like I said, we're going to watch a short video, and I say short, it's about, I think, about 23 minutes long. So it's not that long. I'd consider that short. But it's something that I have used in the workplace, something that Miss Danielle uses on a daily basis, because she does contract billing outside of Unitech as well. And it's such a valuable tool for us when it comes to finding out claim status and making sure our claims are clean before they get filed to insurance. The clearinghouse kind of plays that second set of eyes on your claim before it goes, to the insurance company and then gets denied. It sometimes it'll save you some time. So guys, let me know if you cannot hear this, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miss Danielle
Can y'all hear that?
Washington, and I am going to be your virtual tour guide on today. Today, we're going to be doing a Unitech Training Academy virtual tour on Availity. Availity is a very popular clearinghouse that is used for a lot of medical billing and coding facilities to actually import trips for processing to their third parties, such as payers, behavioral health claims, to United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, family practice claims. Any type of billing that can be done is normally transported to a clearinghouse for further processing. So today we're going to do a little bit of a trip. I'm going to introduce you to an actual clearinghouse where we're going to look around and kind of see the different functionalities in it and how everything works in there. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so this is Availity again. When you go into Availity, you're going to see several different things, and one of the first things that you're going to see is your patient registration. You're going to see claims and payments, my provider, reporting, and payer spaces. Now, one of the main functionalities of the clearinghouse is the ability to send and receive EDI files. So as I'm sure a lot of us have learned in our coursework, our EDI files are generated from our billing system, and the billing system automatically composes this file for us and makes it easier for us to transfer them back and forth between different systems should we need to use it for anything else, or should we need to share that information with different sources, such as a clearinghouse. So again, Availity, one of the things that I really like about Availity is its functionality. It's really easy to use. Most of the function keys within the system are pretty self-explanatory. I always say whenever you get into a new clearinghouse system, it is always good to get in and kind of just search around and look and see everything that the system has to offer. You may even come across some things that is in your clearinghouse that your billing system may not offer, and at that point in time, you are able to utilize your clearing system for that information. For instance, most of the billing systems have what's called an aging report, where you can get in there and look at claims that was previously billed and previously paid. In this system, you're also able to do the exact same thing. You're able to actually go in and look at some of the claims that you recently billed. Have they processed and how did they pay under your transaction log? I'm not going to actually click on anything because, again, this is an actual live clearinghouse system, so there is personal health information in here. So we aren't going to actually click on anything, but I am going to give you the tour in the functionality of the keys. So going into our claims and payments, again, you can go in and look at your claim statuses. Let's say that you have filled out a claim and it is past the 35 or the 45-day mark that the insurance company normally tells you it'll take for that claim to process. Of course, we can always go through the IVR system for that particular payer and get claim status, but we want to make it as easy as we possibly can. In making it easy, we would go under our claim status here, track the actual claim from beginning to end. Of course, at this point in time, whenever you go to actually go back and look at any type of claim status, you're going to have to provide some personal health information for the patient, information that you're looking for. So you can do that in your clearinghouse to check claim status. You can also review your remittance advices.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to pause it because I want to explain to you guys what remittance advices are. I don't think that's something we've talked in any detail about. But basically, you remember we went over EOBs, and when the provider sends a claim for processing and the insurance company processes it, they'll send the patient a copy of the EOB and they will send the provider a copy of the EOB. Well, if the provider filed a bunch of claims at one time, they'll send back a report called a remittance advice. And basically it's a summary of all of the EOBs from one batch or one filing, possibly one day. It just depends on how they filed it, if they filed them all together. But everything that was filed together will be listed on the remittance advice line by line. And it'll have the claim status, the payment amounts, and all that different, the claim numbers. That's a big thing too, because you'll want to be able to track those claims. So you may write down or notate the claim number off of the remittance advice or something like that. But that's what a remittance advice is. It's a summary of a batch of EOBs, basically. Any questions about that? Or anything that Miss Danielle has talked about thus far? Nope. Okay.
Again, this information is also usually readily available in your billing system, but we are working with a computer system, so there may be times when that particular remit section of your billing system is not available to you. Now you have a backup source. So any claims that passes through your clearinghouse to then be processed at the payer, you're going to be able to look at the remittance in here and see exactly what that insurance company paid, if they denied any claims, if we need to bill any claims. You can all find that under your remittance advice. Appeals. If for any reason you need to actually get an appeal done, if you have filled out a claim and the claim has been rejected for more than 2 or 3 times, at that point in time, maybe just after the second time, I would definitely say to go ahead and start the appeals process. This process can be pretty tedious when you're doing it paper. And again, it's a lot to keep up with, so we do want to make sure any type of electronic communication that we can use to send information back and forth between the facility and the payer, I would definitely recommend that because you're able to track it easier. You can always go back and look at it in the system once it's been completed, and you can physically track each stage of your appeal in here. So once your appeal is actually created within this particular system, you can then go back and see when it has been received by the payer and when it is in the processing phase with the payer, and of course when it has ended, and also what their findings were. At that point in time, if you need to go any further with the appeals process, I'm pretty sure that they will give you information within this electronic system to let you know what your other options are once you have started that appeals process. Overpayments. This happens often. Sometimes we actually are paid over for a specific claim for some reason or another. When the payers do their internal audits, at that point in time, they will realize that you are overpaid for something. In many instances, overpayments are sent to you via paper to the payer. But in some instances, they do send over the overpayments electronically, and you, as the biller, is expected to go and look at those overpayments and also rectify those. And they give you some different options in the way that you can rectify those. You can rectify those by either sending a paper check with the funds that was overpaid, or you can do an electronic payment, of course, through the actual overpayment tab here. Professional claims. Let's say something happened to your billing system itself internally, and maybe it's down and it's not currently functioning, but you have some claims that you need to send out to some of your payers. You can actually go in here and complete a professional claim from beginning to end, just as you would in your billing system. It will be in the form of a HIPAA 1500 form. Of course, all the information that you would normally pre-populate in your billing system, you would have to manually put that information here because that information is not going to pre-populate because you are building that claim from scratch, but you are able to do that. Facility claims is basically just going to give you a list of all the claims that you've ever billed through this particular facility. Attachments, if you need to actually upload something, let's say for instance you're going to be doing an appeal and you want to send evidence to back your claim for the reason why they should actually pay you for this claim. In most instances, you need to send paperwork in order to get that done. You're able to upload attachments here. You can upload as many attachments as you need to, and it will store it for you almost the same as it does as our Moxie Manager that is in our e-learning site. It stores all of that information for us, and then we're able to go back and pull it and attach it and use it in different ways that we see fit. The View and Essential Plans is not a tab that we normally use. A lot of times we are in our clearinghouses. And of course, your send and receive EDI files. So if for any instance or any reason your billing system does not actually push your claims to their payers, like for instance, if the clearinghouse is not built into their billing system. For instance, you may be billing in a, let's say, RxMT billing system, but you don't physically go into Availity to push those claims through. Reason being is because Availity has actually been inputted into that billing system. So when you hit submit, it automatically transports that claim into that billing system and then sends off the processing file. But I have seen in billing systems where the billing system will only compose the billing for you, whereas you will key in all of your CPT codes, your diagnosis, you will basically build the entire claim. Once the claim is built, it goes into a file, which is normally referred to as a batch. You will gather that batch, and then you will actually go here to send that batch off to the payer in order for those claims to be processed and paid. Now, anytime you go into an actual clearinghouse such as this one through Availity, you want to be mindful that when you submit those claims, unlike your billing system where you will be able to readily see any rejected claims, in your clearinghouse, you have to actually go in and search those claims. So let's say, for instance, we have created a batch, we have attached that batch, and we have sent it off to the payer for them to begin processing those claims. Normally, about a 3 to 4 window of time. Sometimes it may be about 5 or 6 hours, a window of time that you can go back and look. I've went in previously and tried to look at claims that are processed within a certain amount of hours, and those particular claims were still in the processing phase. How do we know when that claim has actually completed the processing phase in our clearinghouse? So there are different identifiers. One is you will now see that claim, it will not show in a processing phase anymore. You will either see it as accepted or rejected. Those are the two things that you're going to look for. So, of course, all of your claims that have been accepted within that particular batch, then those are good to go. But all of the ones that were actually rejected, we want to make sure that we pay attention to those rejected files, read the reason for the rejection, and actually get those cleared up and send those back down for processing. Because what will happen is, even though we've batched these claims and we have said that in our minds these are clean claims, the billing system on the end has caught something that we didn't catch as billers, human error. It has caught that, and now we need to go in and actually correct that information so that that claim can continue processing and pay. So file restore, let's say we put some information in here and we make a mistake and delete it. You can go back and ask for a file restore, and I've actually been able to do this before in Ability. And it's not actually only deleted files. The system will only store a certain amount of claims at a time. Let's say something happens and we need to retrieve claims from 6 months ago. We will actually need to put in a file restore and ask for those claims from that day of service, because 9 times out of 10, especially if you're billing a lot of claims at a time, the system has already kicked those claims out to make room for more claims to be able to populate. But Ability does offer you, does give you the ability to actually go back and restore those files. So EDI reporting preferences. If for some reason you want to be able to monitor or report specific things within your billing system or things that is going on with your payer, you can go in here and set parameters to show different type of EDI reports. So that's done under your preference. The connection services, not something that we use very often within our clearinghouses. The EDI plans. So depending on the payer that you're using or sending these claims to, there may be different plans that they have in place that they would like you to utilize over another plan. And you would know that by speaking to your payer directly. For instance, if it's claims that's going to Blue Cross Blue Shield, you would reach out to them and see how do they want those claims to actually come across, and you will go in and make your edits there to match their preferences. So your payer list. And I'm not gonna click on the payer list here because there's also a payer spaces here, and these two things are basically the exact same things. But as you can see by the little hearts here, you can go and make these your favorites so that they would appear under your top applicants. My top applications, if you heart any of these particular items, it will be on your front screen, and whereas now you would have to actually drop it down, it would be just on your front screen and you can just click on it from there. Transaction enrollments. So very, very important tab, and also a very convenient one, I find it to be. When you are credentialing for any of your insurance companies and they have requested that you complete an enrollment form, it may be for EFT funds, or it may be for just EDI enrollment, period. If it is, then you want to actually go in and submit a transaction enrollment form. And this form, of course, is going to have all the facilities information as far as like how you want payments routed, where do you want remittance sent, and different things like that. You're basically telling the insurance company how you want to set up this particular facility's billing station from beginning to end. Fee schedule. schedule listing, always an amazing tab to have. If you need to go in and see if there has been any decreases or maybe increases on a specific CPT code, you can go in there and click on it, and you can type in the CPT code and it will populate a fee schedule for you. The one thing I will say though about this particular tab is that sometimes when updates happen, for instance, CMS is our main, the main person that releases our fee schedule. Well, not person, but the main facility that actually governs our fee schedules for most of our insurance companies. So, in some instances, when they update information, our clearinghouses and also our billing systems may be late in receiving that information. So I would definitely say if you're going to be using this as a point of reference, make sure that you're comparing it to CMS and that those actual numbers are looking pretty much around or about the exact same number, because it could be that that number has changed, but your particular clearinghouse or billing system has not actually updated that information just yet. But still a very cool feature to have. So let's go and look at our payer spaces, which is really something that I really love about Availity, because they make it so easy for us to go in and look at all of the different payers that we can actually submit billing to. So all of our payers that is accessible in this particular clearinghouse will be listed under our payer spaces. And as you can see, there are quite a few of them. Some instances, they may even have some payers that are not listed here, but they actually do allow you to submit claims to them. And in that instance, you will want to contact Availity directly and ask and give them that particular payer ID, and they can either add that payer for you or let you know if they're able to facilitate submitting claims between your billing system and that particular payer. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, and this is why we have a variety of different clearinghouses. Availity, as I said, is a very big one that is used a lot. Change Healthcare is also another one, and it basically does the exact same thing that Availity does, but there may be some pairs in
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's froze up on my end.
clearinghouse, it will send you messages here, and you'll be able to read any of your messages, anything you have pending, or anything that you've received lately from the clearinghouse. So you will see that there.
There it
So
is.
you want to make
It froze up on some of y'all. I'm thinking it might
Yeah.
be when I put it on mute because I started choking. I've got some
Yeah.
I've got some sinus stuff right now going on that is causing me to choke like every 5 minutes. So I put it on mute so I don't choke in y'all's ear. But I think that's what is probably tripping it up. So let's give it a minute and see if it clears up. Y'all let me know if it does or not, okay? But we've only got about 3 minutes left. So we're almost done.
make sure that you pay attention to your messages. Patient registration, which is our eligibility and benefits inquiry. If we need to actually run eligibility on any of our payers to make sure that this is a valid insurance benefits for any particular patient, we would do that under, of course, eligibility and benefits inquiry. authorizations and referrals. If for some reason we wanted to actually complete an authorization in the clearinghouse, we can do that from here also. And also we can send referrals back and forth between physicians. If I'm not mistaken, in order to actually complete that underneath Availity, the facility that you're sending it to has to have an account also, so that you two can communicate between Availity as far as sending and receiving referrals. Of course, we do not know that there's an easier way to do that, which is just to basically send it via fax directly to that particular person. But if for some reason we did want to utilize this function in Availity, it is available. View essential plans, and this is just different plans that may actually populate in the Availity system. Maybe something that came up that was new, that they're not actually showing in pair spaces as of right now. You can go in and look at those. Patient care summary inquiry. They have a different portal for patients where they can actually create a login and a username and password, and they can set up an account and they can actually track all of their remittance advices in Availity also, and also communicate with the payer that sent over the information. If they have any questions or want to send them something specific, they can type it in there, and you as the provider that actually filled the claim out can actually see the patient, the inquiry. So we went over all of those. And we went over all of those. And also the reporting tab, payer spaces, Availity list. Okay. So we pretty much covered everything. Excuse me. We pretty much covered everything in the clearinghouse and all the functionalities. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and found it interesting, or even taken away something from it that could possibly help you whenever you do start to work in your field of study. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye.
All right. So there is one thing I want to expand on a little bit. She talked about clearinghouse rejections, and basically that's when you file a batch through the clearinghouse and it checks it over for those initial simple errors, like date of birth does not match what the insurance plan has on file, the policy number may be incorrect, maybe the wrong insurer if it's a minor or something like that. But they'll spit out a list of rejections. And when you're a billing specialist, that could very well be one of your jobs, is to go over that list of rejections. When I did medical billing as primary job role, that was one of my daily job duties. Every morning I had a little stack of paper that somebody would grab off of the printer and put on my desk, and that was my list of rejections, the batches, the claims that had gotten kicked out and not sent from the previous day. And that would be the first thing I would do in the morning, is go over my batch rejections from the previous day and correct whatever needed to be corrected and get those refiled. Okay? And then you got to notate the account that, hey, this rejected, I did this to it, and I sent it back out today. And, you know, hopefully the second time it goes out, it'll get cleared and go on to the insurance company. But that is something that that billers do on a regular basis, you know, so it may be something that y'all see and experience. So, any questions about clearinghouses, Availity, insurance companies, file transfers, claims, anything at all? What y'all got for me today?
I have a question.
What you got, Courtney?
Can you tell me the steps of a billing? So after an office visit, they submit the claim to the insurance company, or is there somebody in between before it goes to the insurance company? I know they have to put the codes on it and everything. How's that work? What's the steps?
Basically, We kind of went over this in one of the Zooms a few weeks ago, the entire revenue cycle.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
it
I'll go back
starts
and look
out,
at it.
with that office visit, and then it'll go, whatever nurse, provider, whatever, will probably do a lot of the coding or maybe fill out a super bill or something like that. And depending on how that office is set up, they may file the claims directly from there or they may send it to a biller. Like I worked in a third party billing company. So we worked for different clinics and different doctors. They would all send us their super bills. We would enter in the claims into the EHR system and send them to the clearinghouse if that's how they needed to go. Now, whether they go through a clearinghouse or whether you have to send them directly is up to the insurance company itself. Some of them are signed up with your clearinghouses and some of them are not. And some of them are only signed up with certain clearinghouses and some of them are signed up with others. And there's a bunch of different ones. There's Waystar, Availity. Ms. Danielle mentioned a couple of other ones that she deals with, but there's a lot of different ones, and it just depends on the insurance company. Some of the smaller insurance companies are not signed up with clearinghouses, and you have to do everything with them either by fax or email or paper. They don't do any kind of electronic anything. So it depends on the insurance company. All your big boy insurance companies like Humana, Blue Cross, Aetna, all of those, they're in with all of the clearinghouses. They make it as easy as possible for you to get and, file your claims to them and get information back. Or at least they try to. They try to. So yeah, that's pretty much the process as it goes from your office to your coders, then maybe your billing staff, and then until the claim is paid or resolved, it'll stay with the billing staff until it's done. But yeah, any other questions? Did that help any?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Anybody else have any questions today? No? Pretty quiet group today. Miss Danielle does a really good job of explaining the clearinghouse process and all that, all the functionality. And they all, guys, similar to the EHR systems, they all are set up very similarly with the same functions. An eligibility checker, remittance advices that they keep on file that you can look up, claim status, you can search claim status for different payers. They all have that same functionality. They just may be set up a little bit differently. Anything else for me, guys? Any questions about SimChart, module end? Anything in regards to any of that?
I do have one question.
What you got?
I had one of the, let me think, I think it was a daily actually. It closed out, it was a little late, but it closed out on my day 6, and it closed out without anything uploaded to it.
Okay, I
was
can
wondering if
reopen
that
that
was-
for you.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
No problem.
Other than that, I think I'm good. I'll get
Awesome.
caught up here in the next couple of days. I got some time off.
Yeah, I will be catching up. There was one group, if y'all are in group 17, I don't know if y'all pay attention to that or which group y'all are in, but my group 17, I've got y'all's stuff graded and caught up at this point. Up until like last night at midnight, I was working on it. Group 15, I am still working on your stuff. So that'll get, all your grades will be caught up in probably the next 24 hours or so for your sim charting. And if y'all have submitted completed, uploaded a paper that said completed, but I'm finding it not done, it's not showing done on my side, then I'm not putting a grade on it. And then when it closes at the end of the module, if we still haven't done it in SimChart, it's going to automatically assign an F. So if y'all have completed it and I'm not grading it, or it doesn't have a grade attached to it within the next 24 hours or so, get with me because I need y'all to send me screenshots so I can put your grades in because it's not showing on my side for some reason. So just be aware of that.
I have a question.
What you got, Angel?
Is there a way that we can, like, on one of my SimChart activities, I guess I failed the test and I made a low. That's like the first one I ever made, like a low grade on it.
Yeah.
Can we, like, go back in and, like, redo that assignment? Oh,
Nah, don't worry about it. I'm not pulling that low grade. I'm not grading y'all on those test scores on the assessments, so don't stress about it if you didn't do well on one. It's not going to affect your grade any.
Okay. I was just wondering. I mean, I know I still have a like 100A, but that
Yeah.
you never know. Like that could bring my little grade down.
It's not gonna. You actually have over 100% A right now, I think. And like I said, for the sim chart stuff, I'm grading more on completion, on what y'all get done, than those assessment scores, because we know there's crazy questions in there that just don't make any sense. So I'm not taking those. You're welcome. No problem. All right. Anything else, guys? Nope. We good? Awesome sauce.
Is there anything that we can study for the quiz at the end? Like, you said we have a quiz at the end?
There is. It's a real short quiz. It's nothing major. Not really. It's kind of based on the sim chart stuff that you've been doing. It's different questions on different paperwork that you've been filling out, or maybe steps in a process or something like that. So as long as you've been in sim chart and doing the assignments, I'm not worried about y'all. Y'all will be fine on the quiz. Like I say, it's a real short, just pop quiz. It's nothing major that you need to study anything extra for. Just make sure you're doing the sim chart assignments, and you'll know the answers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the thing about the pop quiz, for our grading, it's broken down into 3 sections. It's broken down into daily assignments, labs, and exams. And for this particular module, there are no exams. So I had to come up with something for y'all to get a grade in that pop quiz, in that exam section, for y'all to have an accurate grade. So make sure you take that quiz, okay? Because that's the only test in that whole section, and it's worth 30% of your grade. So take that in. Make sure you do that pop quiz. Make sure it's like a 20-point pop quiz, but it's 30% of your grade for this module, because it's the only exam. So I'm not going to be grading them super hard or anything, but do the best you can and make sure you complete it. Turn in something. That's my best advice. I mean, definitely make sure y'all do that pop quiz. Don't not do it. It'll automatically drop your grade to a C. If you can get 100% on everything else, and if you don't do that 20% quiz, that 20-point quiz, you're going to automatically get a C. So that would suck, right? We don't want that to happen. Right.
Yeah.
Most of y'all are not going to have an issue with that. Most of y'all that are here right now are not going to have that issue, because y'all do your work, you come to Zoom, you do your thing. It's going to be the people who are going to say, it's a 20-point quiz, I'm not worrying about it. It's not going to affect my grade that much. The ones that don't come to Zoom, don't watch the recordings, they're going to miss this little snippet, and they're going to be upset about their grade later. So, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right? Right. Any other questions for today before we close it out, guys? No? Alright. Well, guys, didn't have low-flying aircraft.
Hey, I have a question.
What you got?
Okay, for the I know we had talked about not who, but like if they wanted to do the honors thing. What exactly is that honor stuff? Because I know I seen people like across TikTok and stuff, they go to like ceremonies, but I heard that they have to go through like other courses. I think ceremonies and stuff that they have to go to.
Yeah. Like I said, you have to be willing to participate. They do community service. They volunteer their time. They go out into the community and do things. If you have no interest in meeting up with people outside of, the virtual thing, then NTHS is not going to be for you. NTHS is all about being, number one, a great student, and number two, a great community member. And that's the focus of it, is to get our good students out and make them good community members by volunteering their time and their effort to good works, basically.
So with that, would it be like a global thing, or we would have to all like meet up in one spot?
It depends on where the people in the chapter are located. Usually they will meet up, the people that are in one area, like the people that are in Terrebonne and St. Mary Parish, way down south, they meet up together. The people that are in Lafayette, Alexandria area, they will meet up and meet up somewhere in between. It depends on the members, where y'all are located and where y'all can meet up.
Okay.
Because everybody in online is all over the state. So the members that are in the same area try to do things together. But it is a requirement. If your group is continually scheduling events and you don't ever show up from them, you will be removed from NTHS. So it's a requirement. That's why I tell people, if you're not interested in getting out there and really participating, then it's not the program for you. But if you are, then it's a great program. They have scholarship opportunities. They give a letter of reference that you can attach to your resume. All kinds of good stuff. It looks really good on your resume to say you held a 3.5 GPA average, you volunteered your time, you were recommended by your instructor for a National Honor Society. So it's a kudo. It's a kudo on your resume, but it's not a free kudo. If you
I definitely understand that.
It's a kudo, but it's not a free kudo. I like that. I'm gonna use that more often. But yeah, that's what it's about, basically. Yep. All right. Anybody else? Anything else? Good question, Angel. Good question. No? All right. Well, then, you guys, as always, thank y'all so much for your time. I appreciate y'all so much. And have a blessed evening and a blessed weekend. And stay safe and healthy and happy and make good choices. And I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye, Miss Brandy.
Bye.